Hi, this is Joanne. So today I'm not in a particularly good mood. I had an argument with my daughter. So this is how I run my life now. I am so sick and tired of people, the wickedness in people. You know how some people just get up on my nerves and they disrespect me, and I tell them, you know what? Don't disrespect me. Don't be rude. Don't just think that it's okay. And think because in the instance with my daughter, just because you're entitled to do that because I'm mom and I'm gonna put up with it. You know? I you know, all these videos I'm trying to help because, I'm 45 years old now. You can see you know, well, I'm getting ready to go to church. I gotta go in and do my hair pretty soon here, but um I'm trying to help females. And I am trying to help kids and adolescents that are unsuspecting, that are, sometimes their parents just had them. They didn't teach them nothing, they just had them. And sometimes the parents abuse them sexually, emotionally, psychologically, and they abuse them in ways of neglect, in not getting them away from the other parent that's hurting them, right? So sometimes when you're young, like when I was young, I didn't understand how the world works. I was a kid. You don't understand how it works, and you're pretty much they had you. You go to school, whatever you learn is what school taught you, and the school doesn't teach you life skills. I mean, it teaches you. I remember looking through a telescope and looking at an onion. I mean, I don't know where that's gonna help me pay my bills in the future. In grade 7, I took an art class. Um, You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things that young people don't understand because it's not taught to them, and they feel like in my situation, I don't know why both my parents worked and they brought me to the babysitter from Monday to Friday, and then I used to have a bedwetting problem when I was a young girl, and then they used to beat me. Not Well, I say they because if you stand there and let somebody beat this child, you really are a part of it too. So, um, his name was Jack. Jack used to um, take me out of my bed and beat me with a wooden spoon. I don't know how he thought that was going to make me stop wetting the bed. I was just a deep sleeper. He probably should have just said, I can't handle this. Let me give you, your child back, and you have to deal with this issue that she has. So, but that would probably be the right thing to do. And sometimes the right thing means that you have to temporarily um, lose some income. So you have to follow the income. Where's the money at in these things? Because so many, you know, men do things because they're not making enough money, and so many women do things because they don't want to do the work that's involved to find out how to make the money on their own. So they often put their kids in harm's way of these criminals, these violent men, and you know what? They're a criminal themselves if they neglect this child. You know, and then my father, when I was 11, started sexually molesting me, and you know the the reason that I'm sharing this because I hope that if this hasn't happened to you, then that's great. But if you know somebody that's bullying, if you know somebody that needs, um, that something's not right over there, tell them to watch this because I want to try to talk to them and tell them how it's gonna stop. The cruel thing about this world sometimes is that nobody comes to help. You're the one that has to take the responsibility and be strong enough to say something. You, you know, can you imagine? It's not your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, best friends. You have to be the one to be strong enough to say something to protect yourself. So if somebody, like I finally told, well, I told my mom's best friend, and my mom questioned me about it, and my mom was kind of like, did it happen? And I said yes, and then she was like, we didn't leave right away, which is horrifying, right? It's horrifying, and she was trying to say, well, he said he was checking to see if you had wet the bed. I don't think somebody standing up over me, like when we went camping. We had a trailer in Plattsburgh, New York, and when he's standing up over me masturbating, and all the went on my leg as I was sleeping at the other end of the trailer. I don't think that's consistent with checking a girl to see if she's wet. And you don't touch a girl's private parts, especially your daughter or anybody, unless it's your wife or something, um, when she's 11 years old. You know. So of course criminals lie, right? They lie. And then he gave me a watch, he tried to get me to kiss him. Back in the day, I was in very good shape, and I was very pretty. My hair is like fried now. I have like 3 illnesses. One of them is Graves' disease, which affects your, your hair and stuff. It gets dried out and stuff. But um, it's not an excuse if you're a really young, pretty girl. But you're going to have more of these criminals, these pigs in society coming at you. There was there was a lot of older men that used to hit on me, and it was just disgusting. So I'm sharing this because not enough people are talking about this stuff. They have stuff on TV that and in the news, like there's more focus on the royal baby coming than there is on life skills and knowledge for, you know, in the mainstream media, for people to be able to pay their bills, for people to be able to get out of harm's way. Um, so that's why I'm doing these videos, because it's just crazy with the stuff that they put out there, and there's so many people getting hurt and harmed, and it's not just women, you know, it's not just females, it's not just girls, it's uh, you know, uh, young male kids too. So those things happen to me, and the other cruel thing about this world is that there's, particularly in Canada, there is so many criminals, so many bad guys helping bad guys, so many criminals. Right, the wicked run the system in Canada, and it hurts people, especially girls and kids, because they fail to take action to go in and um, to like question the kid. You could just question the kid at school. Instead of checking my hair to see if I have lice or something, ask them. Say, how's it going at home? Is everything okay? Is anybody hurting you? Is anybody sexually abusing you? Oh my gosh, just people just, I can't believe you're even suggesting that. That's what needs to happen. Because the cycle needs to be broken, because I break the cycle. Obviously, I don't do that, but sometimes when it happens to guys, they repeat the process, like the criminal activity. Most sexual offenders, I think if you talk to them, they'll say they've been sexually abused themselves. So, I'm sharing this to help. And so, my what started to get better for me was when I told the social worker at the hospital. I had to go to the hospital for cramps in my stomach, and while I was there, um, I told the nurse what was going on, and they contacted the social worker, and then my mom's like, "We don't want those people around." She actually said that we don't want those people around. See, back in the day, looking at everything that had gone on from a logical, perspective, it was a lot more difficult for them to acquire knowledge, and it's a lot easier today with the internet. You can just get online and you could Google any question you ever had, and that's what I did. I studied successful people for years during my spare time. I got on about.com and Google, Wikipedia. I taught myself about the stock market, marketing, advertising. I've started businesses online, and um, that's, you know, a lot easier. But it's not an excuse, right? Because sometimes like I said, when my grandparents, I had, like, I don't know, on my mom's side, I think like 5 kids in this 2-bedroom house. That's the insanity that needs to stop. If you have a kid, you can barely afford it. Then you go and have another kid, you still barely afford it. Then you have another kid. There's the money part of it, yes, but there's like spirits inside of each of those people that has a purpose, that's supposed to do something with their life. They need knowledge, they need guidance. You can't just have the kids, you gotta guide them, you gotta teach them stuff. And these days, the school system, they want you to know anything and everything except knowing about how to make money. They want you stunned, they want you silent, and they want you in fear, so that you just take these government jobs, just pay your taxes and shut the F up. That's exactly what the government wants. And boy, oh boy, or are the females and the kids at a mercy to this stuff. You know, we're at an effect to what they want. So it's important, if you're being abused, and if you know somebody that's probably being abused, to say something. And you could do it in a way that you protect yourself, because people are crazy and they can be violent. You know, But it's important to tell a social worker and I called the police myself, and you know what the police said? Well, there was no sexual intercourse, so he wouldn't even get more than a year in jail. So they didn't come out, they didn't do anything. Can you imagine? That's what the system's like in Canada when I was a teenager. And it's even worse now. Canada is wicked. On a micro level, it's wicked. One of the main differences between the US and Canada is that Americans accept God in their everyday life. It, and in Canada, it's not like that. A lot of public schools, they almost don't want God in the system, so they can just do what they do. They get off on what they do to people. They get off on it, and they try to manipulate even the police officers. It's all about money, 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 and control. I know a lot of what goes on because I'm a businesswoman and I've studied a lot of these things. I understand these, and I understand mainstream people. They don't. They go to work, they come home, they have their family. But this is intentional, what's going on. And this is very, very serious, because I believe that this is not how God intended it to be. And there's too many people getting harmed. So, I encourage you, you have to stop this because it's going on too long and it may not work, and then I'll continue it in a moment. But say something. Say something, tell something, and you got to be strong enough to keep on saying it. And if you have a video camera, you can get the criminal activity on, and because that's evidence for the courts. Okay, just a moment now.